Hello everyone, my name is Linda. I'm from National Jiaotong University. Today, we are going to teach you how to master your demonstration speech. Do you want to be a good speaker? Demonstration speech is one of the fundamental types of speeches. And follow us, and we are going to show you how to become a master in demonstration speeches. Are you ready? Here we go. Okay, let's do it. So after today's session, you'll be able to describe the purpose of a demonstration speech and effectively organize and prepare for the demonstration speech. Most importantly, we're going to teach you a secret tip: how to use gestures to support your demonstration speech. So, what exactly is demonstration speech? A demonstration speech is a form of informative speech where the speaker's primary purpose is to teach the audience how to complete a task or process. And this is largely accomplished by demonstrating the task or process through a series of steps. Therefore, for demonstration speech, we also call it a how-to speech. And now, let's take a look at, in your how-to speech, what can you include? What do you talk about? Well, most people may talk about how to make something, or how to complete a process, or how something works. In terms of how to make something, for example, how to make your favorite sandwich, or how to do household decorations, or you can talk about how to make certain technological gear. And how to complete a process, you could talk about how to play the game or sports, or sometimes you can talk about how to maintain something or repair or fix something. And the last one, how something works. This is probably very popular for a lot of product presentations because they are going to teach people how does this new product work. And for example, you're going to talk about a car, a certain machine, or any computer software. After we know what exactly demonstration speech is, we are going to teach you how to select a good topic for your demonstration speech. First of all, you probably want to pick a topic that you know pretty well, and a topic that it can be shown within reliable time boundaries. For example, if you only have 5 minutes, then it's going to be difficult for you to talk about how to build up a nuclear power plant. But it's possible for you to talk about how to make your favorite noodles, for example, or favorite dish. And also, if you are the first timer, try to pick a topic that's not highly technical and doesn't include too many steps. Why not? Because if it's too technical, sometimes it's going to be more difficult for your audience to understand. And if it includes too many steps, it will be difficult for you to make it clear. Therefore, when you first do your demonstration speech, try something that's easier with fewer steps, and that would be much simpler for you to master your demonstration speech. And the last one, when you would like to select a topic, you probably need to do a little bit of audience analysis because you will like your topic and the content expands your listeners' knowledge. You don't want to talk something that's too difficult for them to learn or too easy so that they are not interested. After we introduce how to pick a good topic for your demonstration speech, now here comes the most important part. We are going to teach you how to prepare a well-structured demonstration speech. Here comes the demonstration outline. A good outline will help your listeners to follow your talk. Plus, it will help you memorize and demonstrate your speech. So in your outline, we always start with the opening. In your opening, you try to grab your audience attention. In a demonstration speech, how do you grab your audience attention? How do you catch their attention in the beginning? Well, you may start by talking about why. Why do you have to listen to me? For example, like today, in the beginning of my session, I talked about, do you want to be a good speaker? So that sort of motivates the audience, and they would like to know more about, yes, I would like to be a good speaker, and I would like to learn more about demonstration speech. So this kind of attention-getting opener is like a hook to catch your audience attention. There are also other ways to catch your audience attention. For example, you can talk about a personal experience, or you can show a surprising fact or statistics, or even show them a joke or a picture. So all these things could help your audience to be aware of the things that you would like to talk about. And after that, instead of just jump into your body, the steps, the process, well, I would say it would be more effective if you could start with an overview. The overview of your talk is going to help your audience know a little bit or to anticipate what you're going to say in your demonstration speech. And after that, here comes the most important part in your demonstration speech. That's the body. In your body, you're going to go through the steps one by one. And in each steps, you're going to describe it, show it, and for some people, they may also talk about some options, extras, and variations in each step. What does that mean? For example, if you're demonstrating how to cook your favorite dish, well, you may talk about the standard recipe, but what if there's some things that's more difficult to get? For example, you don't have butter at home. Can I use olive oils instead? So that's something extra or options or variations that the audience can pick. Or you can talk about something that the audience have to be careful about when they are making this dish. For example, if you are talking about how to make your favorite sandwich, and when they're cutting the cucumbers, maybe you can say be careful because you don't want to cut your fingers. So all of things could be included in each step. And after you go through the steps, then you have to think about how do you link your steps coherently. So you may try to add some transitional markers, for example, first, second, third, finally. And all these transitions will help your audience to follow you so that they won't get lost in your talk. All right, so after the step-by-step body, what do you need to do next? Summary. In your summary, you could briefly summarize the major steps with the major things that people have to be careful about. And for some people, they may call for actions. They may say, hey, after showing you my favorite dish, maybe you would like to give it a try. So that's a brief summary. And as for the demonstration speech, it's always good to save a little bit of time for Q&A because your audience may have questions or things that they are unclear about in your talk. So the Q&A time would allow them asking you questions. So that's the brief outline for your demonstration speech. And now we are going to show you an example. In the following example, you are going to watch a video clip from Tech Education. And here I already listed the sample outlines here, but your job is to watch it and fill in the missing information in the outline. By doing this, it will help you to know more about the outlining for demonstration speeches. So you're welcome to pause me and watch the video several times if you need more than once to watch the video. Alright, so here comes the outlining example. We are going to watch a TED Ed video, and this short video is going to be about 5 tips to improve your critical thinking. And by watching this video, don't forget to fill in the outline that we listed in the previous slide. Ready? Let's go.
Every day, a sea of decisions stretches before us. Some are small and unimportant, but others have a larger impact on our lives. For example, which politician should I vote for? Should I try the latest diet craze? Or will email make me a millionaire? We're bombarded with so many decisions that it's impossible to make a perfect choice every time. But there are many ways to improve our chances, and one particularly effective technique is critical thinking. This is a way of approaching a question that allows us to carefully deconstruct a situation, reveal its hidden issues, such as bias and manipulation, and make the best decision. If the critical part sounds negative, that's because, in a way, it is. Rather than choosing an answer because it feels right, a person who uses critical thinking subjects all available options to scrutiny and skepticism. Using the tools at their disposal, they'll eliminate everything but the most useful and reliable information. There are many different ways of approaching critical thinking, but here's one 5-step process that may help you solve any number of problems. 1. Formulate your question. In other words, know what you're looking for. This isn't always as straightforward as it sounds. For example, if you're deciding whether to try out the newest diet craze, your reasons for doing so may be obscured by other factors, like claims that you'll see results in just 2 weeks. But if you approach the situation with a clear view of what you're actually trying to accomplish by dieting, whether that's weight loss, better nutrition, or having more energy, that'll equip you to sift through this information critically, find what you're looking for, and decide whether the new fad really suits your needs. 2. Gather your information. There's lots of it out there, so having a clear idea of your question will help you determine what's relevant. If you're trying to decide on a diet to improve your nutrition, you may ask an expert for their advice, or seek other people's testimonies. Information gathering helps you weigh different options, moving you closer to a decision that meets your goal. 3. Apply the information, something you do by asking critical questions. Facing a decision, ask yourself, what concepts are at work? What assumptions exist? Is my interpretation of the information logically sound? For example, in an email that promises you millions, you should consider, what is shaping my approach to this situation? Do I assume the sender is telling the truth? Based on the evidence, is it logical to assume I'll win any money? 4. Consider the implications. Imagine it's election time, and you've selected a political candidate based on their promise to make it cheaper for drivers to fill up on gas. At first glance, that seems great, but what about the long-term environmental effects? If gasoline use is less restricted by cost, this could also cause a huge surge in air pollution, an unintended consequence that's important to think about. 5. Explore other points of view. Ask yourself why so many people are drawn to the policies of the opposing political candidate. Even if you disagree with everything that candidate says, exploring the full spectrum of viewpoints might explain why some policies that don't seem valid to you appeal to others. This will allow you to explore alternatives, evaluate your own choices, and ultimately help you make more informed decisions. This 5-step process is just one tool, and it certainly won't eradicate difficult decisions from our lives, but it can help us increase the number of positive choices we make. Critical thinking can give us the tools to sift through a sea of information and find what we're looking for. And if enough of us use it, it has the power to make the world a more reasonable place.
Alright, so after watching the video, don't forget to fill in the outline before you move on to the next part of the video. Okay, and if you would like to pause me and try to watch again, you could do that. Okay, so now let's move on to the example that we did previously. Based on the 5 tips to improve your critical thinking, here is my version of the outlines based on the video. So just like we said before, in your opening, you need to grab audience attention. And how do you grab your audience attention? Well, like I said, we have to tell the audience why. So in the very first sentence here, they started by saying, every day a sea of decisions stretches before us. So by listening to this sentence, the audience would probably agree with it because they think, yes, every day I have to make decisions. And then after that, the speaker raised some questions for you to think about. For example, which candidates you're going to vote for, or what you need to do. Should I go for a new diet or not? So these will be the questions and examples. And later on, he narrowed it down to the overview. How do we solve the problems? How do we make better decisions in our life? So here comes the overview of today's demonstration speech. He's going to introduce the 5 tips to improve your critical thinking. So the audience would know, yes, now we're going to listen to the 5 tips, the 5 steps that will help us to improve our critical thinking. And then he moved on to the body. Okay. In the body, just like we have experienced before, there are 5 steps. Step 1, formulate your question. Step 2, gather your information. Step 3, apply the information, something you do by asking critical questions. And step 4, consider the implications. And step 5, explore other points of view. So when he's talking about each single step, he also talked about examples, try to elaborate more, give more examples. Remember when he talked about the new diet, okay? And then when he's talking about, he's showing you different, 2 different kinds of decisions that you have to make. Are you going to stick with the older one, or you're going to try the new one? And in terms of gather your information, he also mentioned about you can ask questions to those experts or to the people who know better in this field so that you get more information, and that will also help you to think critically. And also he would describe each single step in more details, okay, and also offer more examples. So those are the tips that you could keep in mind when you are designing the content in your body. Okay, not just mentioning each single step, but also give more details and give more examples to elaborate more. And also you could talk about the purpose, the steps, and how to complete the step, okay, in your body. And then at the end, when he summarized the talk, he mentioned that critical thinking can give us the tools to sift through a sea of information and find what we are looking for. This sentence actually helped the audience to link back to the opening of his presentation, of his speech. He says something that, yes, every single day for everyone, we have to make a lot of decisions. So we need this critical thinking as a valuable tool, and that will help us to get more information and make the right decision and find out what we are looking for. So it's sort of linked back to the opening, and that will wrap up your speech in a persuasive way. All right, so this is an example for our demonstration outline. And next, we are going to introduce you the 3rd part of today's workshop. We're going to teach you how to use gestures effectively in your demonstration speech. Hello, I'm back. I'm back because I would like to introduce you one of the most effective ways to make a perfect demonstration speech. I'm going to introduce you how to use gestures to demonstrate your ideas. As we know that spoken language and body language can be combined together, and this way we can help our audience understand our messages clearly. How do we do that? The next slide, we're going to show you there are actually 4 groups of gestures. Very simple, only 4. And by using these 4 types of gestures, you could actually have a great demonstration speech. Number 1, try to use numbers and sequence. When we are talking about different steps, process, you could use numbers, step 1, step 2, step 3, or when you talk about sequence, first we did this, next we'll do that, and the third step would be, so by using these kind of gestures, help your audience to follow each single step with you so that they won't get lost. Simple, right? And the second one would be emphasis and focus. Who likes to use it? A lot of politicians love to use emphasis and focus in their speeches. For example, Barack Obama will say, yes, we can, right? Or for Donald Trump, he may say, let's make America great again. All these slogans, when they would like to emphasize their ideas, they love to use gestures to emphasize or to get people focused on the main points. The third one would be illustration and location. This one is also very useful when you would like to talk about sizes, how big they are, or how tall they are, or when you would like to talk about different dimensions, or in terms of on your left-hand side, on your right-hand side, all these different kind of illustrations and locations. By using gestures is also a way to have your audience understand better. And for the fourth part would be comparison and contrast. Sometimes you may want to talk about advantages or disadvantages, so you can use different hands, different parts of your hands to talk about the similarities or differences. And also you could try to use one hand when you talk about A and the other hand when you talk about B. So whenever you're talking about A, you keep using this hand so people won't get lost. They know that you're referring to A. And when you are talking about B, you could keep using the other hand so that they know that would be the same subject that you keep talking about. So your hand gestures actually help the audience to keep track on the subjects that you're talking about. So that will actually save you a lot of time to repeat the subjects again and again. All right, so these are the gestures that we would like to introduce you in today's lecture. And the next part, we are going to show you an example. The next part is our example from our students. Minette is going to give her demonstration speech, and she's going to talk about how to make ratatouille, a famous French dish. In her presentation, I would like you to jot down not only the outline, but also try to pay closely attention on her gestures. What are some gestures that she used to support her verbal messages? Here we go.
Hello everyone, my name is Annette. Today I would like to teach you how to make a delicious cuisine, ratatouille. Has anyone seen this movie before? Well, whether you have seen it or not, in this movie, this dish was made by this rat. So if a rat can do it, so can we. So ratatouille can be divided into 2 parts, the top and the bottom. First, I'll teach you how to make the top. Then I'll teach you how to make the bottom. And last, by combining the top and the bottom, we can get our delicious ratatouille. Let's begin with the first step, the top, making the top. 4 veggies are used in here. The first one, tomatoes. throw them into boiling water, and then in order to slice the skin, and chop them into very thin slices. As for the other three veggies, green, yellow zucchinis, and eggplants, use my blade to slice them. Be careful not to slice your finger. You don't want to be a part of the ingredients. Okay, now we have finished making the top. Now we need to make the bottom. Ooh. To make the sauce, you'll need sliced onions, red peppers, and vegetable scraps from the top. And we have to add some olive oil, salt, pepper, and rosemary. Put them all on the stove, cook on medium heat until it gets done. Be careful, don't burn the sauce. And then put them into the blender to blend. And boom, got the sauce. So since we have the top and the bottom, now we can make the final step. First, apply a layer of salt at the bottom. Then, arrange sliced veggies in a circular pattern. Once you're finished, add baking paper at the very top. Remember to add baking paper. If you don't add the baking paper, your vegetables will get burned easily. And then you send them into the oven to bake 300 Fahrenheit around 9 minutes. So I have teach you how to make the ratatouille. Now let's do a quick review on the step. First, the top. When you slice the veggies, remember not to slice your fingers. Second, the bottom. Don't burn the sauce. And once you get the top and the bottom, you can get the ratatouille. Remember, before you put it in the oven, remember to put the baking paper. Wait. Isn't it simple? Just 2 steps. So go and try yourself. Thank you for listening.
Alright, after watching Minette's example about how to make the French cuisine, ratatouille, now I would like to show you some examples that she uses gestures in her talk. Let's take a look at the first one. Did she use numbers? Definitely. When she mentioned about 4 veggies, she used 4 fingers to show the numbers. And also she used gestures to emphasize when she would say something like, be careful, don't cut your fingers. Okay, so when she wants to emphasize, she would use some gestures. And for illustrations, when she was talking about slices of the vegetables, cut them into slices. Okay, so she's using the gestures to illustrate the ideas. And also when she was mentioning about the top and the bottom, about the 2 different layers in ratatouille. Okay, so that's the contrasting. She also uses gestures to emphasize to talk about the differences. So after we check out the examples, you will know that gestures will actually help us understand better in your demonstration speech. So in your next demonstration speech, don't forget to use some gestures in your talk. And what shall we do next? Next is always very helpful. It's your turn. Yes, by learning so many ideas about demonstration speech, it's your turn to prepare your own demonstration speech. And you are going to talk about how a tech gadget works. You can pick any tech gadgets that you would like to introduce to us. And when you do that, first of all, you need to plan your talk. When you plan your speech, don't forget the demonstration outline that we've learned before. And step 2, when you prepare the speech, especially the body of your talk, don't forget the steps, the details, and elaborations. You could use photos, even drawings. And after you have planned and prepared your talk, The next part is to repractice, which is the rehearsal part. And when you rehearse your speech, don't forget to use your gestures. Remember the 4 different types of gestures? Number 1, number and sequence. Number 2, emphasis and focus. Number 3, illustration and location. The last one, comparison and contrast. Practice the gestures in your demonstration speech, and that will definitely make your speech more powerful. And all in all, you will present your demonstration in class. So, thank you for joining us today. We will see you in class. And the next slide will be our reference for today's lectures. Thank you.